they package everything nicely. So like I said, I wasn't too worried. I just, you know, figured I should mention it happens, you know. So these are the little free items. They did have giveaways with purchase. So if you purchase a certain amount, they were just gonna add a little, you know, goodie here and there. So the first thing that I'm going to open is the little keychain. I have a few of these about, I think I've given them away, in fact. But I think they're so cute because it has the little different colors of the Nuvo drops, the little bottle, and then the Tonic Studios logo, which is the bubble, and super cute. So they included one of those. And then the free goodies are these Nuvo products. So let me just I'm going to take the box out of here. Might be easier to see. And of course I didn't get everything that they had because gotta be careful, right? Not to go crazy. But I'm already seeing, okay, so they had, let's just open it. Just gonna open it. So a Nuvo embellishment pot here, and this is sample size, but this is in the Indian gold, and it's, I've seen this before, it's a little sample and a little sample of, I'm pretty sure this is an embossing color, and this is classic silver. So if you've not tried the Nuvo products from Tonic Studios, they're hands down some of the best that I've ever used. And I'm not just saying that. I have used mixed media for many years, and they have the drops. For instance, this is a sample size, of course. The regular size of bottles can vary depending on the type of drops that you'll get from them. So, for instance, here is one that I always keep on the side. This is a glitter drop. And this is how many ounces. It's hard for me to see because of the labeling, but this is 1 ounce, and then this is 1.4 ounce, almost 1.5. And the difference between these two, for instance, is that this is a dream drop. This has an iridescent finish. This is a glitter drop, so it will dry as if you had put glitter on your page or paper. And this is a stone drop. So this has a different texture. It does feel like sand once it dries. And I have used that in the past for centers of flowers and that sort of thing. And it gives, I don't know, it's just a nice, unique texture. But the opening, I wanted to mention that the opening of something like this, for instance, is wider because of the fact that it needs more space to come out of that bottle. They always have those little gems. So cute. This is a mica mist type, and I already have one of these. And this one's in pink carnation. Such a pretty color. And you can see another one of these on the side. I got that one, but also free purchase. So here is the mystery bag. Let's start here because I did order the mystery bundle, or Nuvo bundle, that's what it was. I ordered the Nuvo bundle. Again, because I really like what they have. And I'm pretty sure this was, I'm trying to remember now. Let me look at my receipt here. Let's see. Okay, so I ordered, yeah, I'm thinking here, yeah, I guess this was a bundle, I don't know, bundle, whatever, but it came with a glitter accent and winter cranberry, and so the same way I just mentioned, the size of the bottles varying, as you can see here, because this has pure like glitter in it, and it looks cloudy in the bottle, but if you get one of these, don't be alarmed. This is the medium. As you speak out, you'll see. Matter of fact, let me grab here. I've been crafting, of course. But if you see how much volume you get, and of course that's a big, big drop. Tap your like this, for instance, if you use that flour, it'll stay with that domed volume, but then once it dries, it's going to look as if you just put glitter on there. So if you don't like the mess of glitter, but you like the effect, these drops are excellent for that. So once that dries, I'm setting it aside, but once it dries, I suppose I can show you. Hello, Beverly. Oh, is it? I'm so sorry. Let me see. See, I'm afraid to touch the buttons here. It's got to be my new internet. I hope you guys can hear me. Of course, I'm trying not to yell. I tend to speak a little bit too loud sometimes, and then I feel it later on. This one is a crystal drop. Again, different texture than the glitter, but what a beautiful color. It's called Autumn Red. Perfect for Christmas, fall, Valentine's. So it looks like they have a lot of fall colors in this, which is good for the season, I suppose, to be ready. And this is Medici Crimson. I have not seen this color before, but this is an embossing powder. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. I can't wait to try that one out. Medici Crimson is the name of that. And again, such a pretty presentation as always. So let's see, there's another drop here, and this is called Dirty Bronze, and that's a metallic. So let's see, so far there's a crystal, a metallic, and a glitter, all different. Then there is another crystal drop, and these were the original ones, and this was called Gloss. But, oh no, sorry, it's not. I take it back, I'm correcting this. This one's called Olive Branch. I was wondering why it said gloss, but I guess it's because it does have a glossy finish. Another beautiful color there. So here with this, it's my first time getting one of these bottles, but I know what it does. It mists the product that you put inside, so that way you don't get a straight shooting, you know, in one little area. But this is called the Glitter Mister, and I'm excited to have this because I do have quite a bit of different glitters from Tonic Studios, and this has a particular type of pump that'll pick it up, and you just put a tiny bit in there. You don't have to use the entire thing. And once you use this, let me think of here. I'm gonna have to look at how they missed it. Yeah, okay, here we go. This little gun here. Once you press it anyway, this shoots it all out so that, you know, you don't have too much of a concentration of it. So just another little toy, you know. I'm really excited about these, however. These are glitter gloss pens. And if you're familiar with the ones from, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think of the other brand. There's another brand that has gloss pens, and I'm blanking at the moment, but I'm super excited about these because this is a more precise application of shine. And of course you take off the ring, the little yellow ring, and you close it again, and this allows you to then use the pen. But this is basically shimmer. Here we go. So it's got that brush pen, in the same way that you use the other pens that Nichols has. I am thinking the watercolor ones. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of the names. The same way that you would use those, you can use these. The difference being, of course, that there's no color. So you're just going to get that beautiful, clear, glossy shine. I'm super excited about that. Aqua Shimmer, that's what they're called. I should have read the packaging. I have several of these, and let me tell you, if you've never used the ones, thank you, Wink of Stella. use the colorful ones, the ones that they have that look like a watercolor pen, basically. It's the same, you know, pen. They have some super intense color in them. And I'm trying to think, you know, I always look around when you hear me. I'm looking around the room. I know you guys can't see it. I'm looking around my room to see if I have a sample that I can show you guys. But I tend to always give everything away or mail it out, and so sadly I don't always have a sample for you guys. However, let me think here. Different techniques that you could use it on would be, for instance, something like this. I recently shared how to make this kind of inlay look on the books. And I'm almost positive that I used, well, this was a glimmer pen on the gray portion or silver portion of that book. But if you're using, okay, here's an example. I don't know why I've got washi tape on that. Oh, Lord have mercy. So here on the back of this book, that's a sample that I could refer to because I used one of the glimmer pen, Aquaflow pens, I'm sorry, on here, and that is vellum that I colored. So the vellum was just, you know, that see-through vellum that has no color whatsoever, and I colored it in with an Aquaflow pen, which is one of these, but with color. No, finally I got my words out. Okay, I guess I needed another cup of coffee today. I don't know what's going on with me. All right, so speaking of Aquaflow pens, which are the ones with a little bit of glimmer sometimes and sometimes not. This one's called Festive Season. This is an older trend. And the first here are Baked Cherry, Pressed Olive, which is going to match exactly with the other shops, and then Matador Red. How pretty. I like the names. Yes, they are very intense. I like to use them over here on my mat. I just squeeze them out onto here, and then I use a separate brush, you know, the same type, an aqua brush, whatever these are called, and then use them onto whatever my project might be. I don't ever go full on to the paper that I'm going to be using as my, you know, final project with one of these because you know, being a water pen, it's really difficult to control the flow of it. And I learned that the hard way, of course, like everything else. So anyway, I recommend that you know, like make all these pretty flowers and put them on top of a book or a card and then go into it with the pen because you will not be happy. Oh, and I finally have a cloth from Tonic Studios. I love these because I, for years and years, didn't think much of getting something like this until I tried one, and I was like, why didn't I want to? You use this and it's shiny, but use on your car. This is phenomenal. It will clean your stamps beautifully. So I'm happy with that. And let's see here. I put that right into my drawer because I don't want to lose it. And of course, they included the bags. Tonic Studios has now, you know, gotten the craft bags that you can use. You know, of course, you can use these when you go shopping, and it's just fun. So this one says Eat, Sleep, Craft, Repeat. I think I already have one that says that. Yes, I do. So this will be my second that says that. And then as a freebie, they added this one that says Crafting is Cheaper Than Therapy. So this is the one that came as the gift along with the other Little Nouveau products. So this was the gift that they included. The bag, these 4 Nouveau products, and oh, and the keychain. So I think that's a pretty decent gift for having placed an order. And you're asking me about, Beverly is asking, it's supposed to be stiff like that, and I don't know what you're referring to. Let me go start. So, aside. Oh, the chamois. No, that's a great question. So, what you do is, thank you for asking. So I can show you. To store it, because what you want to do is that you want to wet it before you use it. Okay, so it looks like an unassuming piece of cardboard that you would throw out, but the way that this works is that you wet it, and it has this material is super absorbent. You can see that. Okay, so it starts getting softer. All right. So once it's, saturated with water, it's going to start, being more pliable, okay? All right. And of course, this is first use, right? But that's another reason to keep it in the Ziploc bag, because you don't want to have to make it wet, every single time that you use it. I'm using up all my water here. But once you got it nice and soaked, then when you go to clean off a stamp that's yucky and dirty, this is going to soak up the ink the same way that it soaked up that water. And it's going to, be nice and, detailed in the clean, okay? So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, you just wet it, keep it wet. Yes, very much, it's a chamois. That's what it is, definitely. I find that the material is slightly different than a chamois, though. But that might just be my thinking. Like, this one has this pebbled texture on the back, which then, this is going to let you scrub your stamp platform, for instance. If you happen to have anything like this at home where you're doing a lot of stamping and then your platform gets icky, then you can definitely use it to clean this as well, not just the stamps. So it's a quick way to just get everything nice and clean and orderly and stuff, because there's that's what I call the dark side of crafting that that no one wants to ever talk about, and it's the amazing amount of mess that you create when you are crafting. But comes with, right? I'm a bit of a, I keep a paper towel roll right next to me every time I have water next to me as well, because I want to discourage myself by having to make it so I like to be able to clean my mat as soon as I make the mess and move on. So here's the other bundle that I picked up. The fun stuff now, finally. This is a Christmas cheer bundle, and it came with a stencil. So pretty. This one is, let me open this up. Alright, so it has different elements here. The poinsettia, the little boat there, stocking, that's the name for that. The little gift box, the Christmas tree, stars, holly, different palms here, a little bell, very sweet. And also, like, this could be a little snowflake depending on the color that you use. And then here are the actual stamps. I hope you guys can see this well. Hi, Karen. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So here's that. It has so many pretty different elements here. So I will share with you what they are. And they did have another bundle, and I believe it's still actually on the page. The other one is more something that I would call more whimsical because it had the Santa and the sleigh. This one I picked up because I prefer the traditional Christmas types of images. And so this had the Christmas tree, again, the stocking, the poinsettia, the wreath, and then it has the little reindeer that you could use. Also a little branch, little baubles or decorations, and then it has these cute robins. And I guess the joke was that they did the feet separately so that you could face them either way. And then the sentiments are jingle all the way, peace on earth, it's the season to sparkle, don't get your tinsel in a tangle, and to both of you at Christmas. And I thought that was quite unique, and I really like the pine cones also. I thought that was great because you can make an elegant card, or you can make a completely playful card. And of course, to do backgrounds with the stencils would be lovely. Then, last but not least, the my favorite piece in the whole, haul was this one. I did not get the carousel. Reason being that I didn't think I would use it, quite honestly. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I'm reaching a different point in my crafty, I don't know, the things that I make that I know that I want to make. And I looked at it and I thought, if I had little kids, then I would use it, but I went ahead and got this instead. Yes. So this one is Memories to Cherish Complete My Memory Book die set. Now, if you guys have seen my channel before, you know I'm completely obsessed with mini albums. And this is the biggest one they have ever made into a die set from Tonic Studios, of course. Comes with the envelope and magnet, just as you can see here, which I'm very happy about, because considering how much you're paying for the dies when you're paying full price, the fact that they include also the storage to me is a super duper bonus, because let's face it, we pay a lot of money for these items as well when we, just want to get our stuff stored, so that we can find it easily, and they make it so easy for us. So this particular die set is, I'm blown away as to, how big it is, first of all. This is insane. And if you didn't see the sample Jody Johnson made, she's a trip, of course, but she made this cookbook, and all I could think, sorry, I mean to say recipe book. She made a recipe book, and all I could think is, finally, somebody thought to make a die set where you could make a recipe book where grandma's old recipes written on those, pieces of paper that are just kind of all shoved in a drawer and that sort of thing, they'll be able to fit. Like, even if you were to scan them and print them out and lay your piece of paper on your card, then you can make a beautiful book that you can pass down to other generations, and not have to make it so tiny that it loses its appeal. I guess that, I hope that makes sense. So this is not 10.5 inches wide. Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. And then this is 7 inches tall. So 10.5 by 7 is, I think, a pretty amazing size. Insane, if you ask me. And then that's just the base. And if you know about the mini albums, then you know that these only cut on 3 sides. the next side here doesn't cut, so that you can make that into the spine if you wish to do so. This does have a decorative beveled die. That's going to be a matting layer if you want it to be, or you can use that as your base. It has another layer here that has a beveled edge on the inside and then the stippled edge on the outside. Super cool. And if you don't know Christine, she's on the design team for Tonic Studios, and she made this super cool book where she actually folded the pages to make pockets. So the final book that she made was actually square, not rectangular. So if you're not into the rectangles, that doesn't matter. You can definitely change the look of the book. Then these are some smaller ones. This is also meant to be the base. And this one is 6 3/4 by, this one, sweetheart, is the Memories to Cherish Complete My Memory Book die set. It is the latest memory book die from Tonic Studios. It did sell out very quickly. However, if you go to the Tonic Studios page and click the Notify Me button, they will bring it back, depending on the demand, of course, you know. So it's 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. Another, you know, base with then again a beveled layer for matting, and then again another layer for matting that has the stippled edge and the beveled edge on the inside. So that's your second size. And as if that were not enough, it has a third size. Okay, so if you like to make mini albums for like brag books, babies, and that sort of thing, or just something really quick for a weekend, this one's 5 1/4 by 4 3/8. 4 3/8. Super cute size. This, I'm tempted to just start with that one, just because it would be easier. And then it has the same 2 matching layers, guys, but there's one more. So this is, oh my gosh, this is insane to me. This is yet a smaller one. This one measures 3 let's see, 5/8, I believe. 1 2 3 4, yep, 3 5/8 by 2 7/8. So this is another type of die that you can make a mini album out of, or the base, of course. However, you can use this to make flaps inside of the book that you make that's in a larger size. So super cool die right here to make a hidden page type flap, you know. 2 matching layers, and then it has, I can't read that, so here's the packaging. The sentiment reads, on this day, and this is all you need is love. And it's a teeny tiny little die that will super tiny. No, that's all it came with. It also came with yet another layer. So this one is, let's see here. Okay, so there's 1 2 3 4 sets of like mini album-ish, you know, I'm just gonna call them 4 sets of mini albums here, and there's a 5th one here. So by the way, it also comes with a spine die. This normally sold Shabby by Tonic Studios, but the last 2 mini albums that they released came with the, I'm sorry, the last 3 came with the spine die, so you don't have to make a separate purchase for this. If this sort of thing stumps you, like the math behind the spines and all this, they make it super easy because they even made a die for that. So anyway, let's go to this one. I think it's insane. The value of what you receive is top notch, in my opinion. So here's the next size. This one is second to largest. This one measures, now the largest was 10 1/2. This is 10 1/4 by, let's see here, 6 3/4. So, you know, I'm calling that, this one's the big mama. And then this one's just, you know, a smaller version. It has, in this case, it has the beveled edge die, the stippled and beveled on the inside die, and it has another one, which is this one. And this is just plain. It's not beveled and it's not stippled or anything crazy like that. But of course, you can use it to create interior pages for the other sizes, meaning the largest one. And if you use it and fold the page, I think here, would you be able to use it? Yeah, you can use it for smaller ones. You just end up folding it. This also has a waterfall mechanism included in the set. This creates and let's see here. This also has the piece here. This would go along with that to create the waterfall. It has a tag with 2 layers. This is the tag, a layer for the tag, and then it also has the layers for, or the pieces, I should say, so that you can thread cord through it. There's 1, 2, yeah, just 2 of those. And Victoria did a really beautiful sample of this on one cover, where she used this as the only element to decorate the cover. And so she put the, you know, if you can imagine, this is your piece, and she threaded the cord through it. So if you're making something, I'm thinking, for instance, a masculine make, and you just want to use that piece to either have the person's name, initials, or something like that, or even school initials, that would be super cool. I hope I'm making sense, but there's the kind of wider looking one. There's a narrow one and a wider one. The other thing that came in here, I think I'm already putting them back in the wrong place. Oh, Lordy. Another large sentiment, just to go over that real quick. It says memories to cherish. And then this one says friends and family. It has the little pull tab with, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options to decorate that one pull tab. Okay. And this also has beveling on it. They spare no expense when it comes to detail. That's what I love about it. And then it has this little tab here. It's going to be for this mechanism to hold it down onto your page. But they also included a piece that you can use to decorate that. And it says days to remember, and that debosses onto your paper. Then the other segments that are smaller here also debossed. They say a moment in time, treasured moments, me and you. Let's see here. Home is with you. Believe in yourself. And let's see here. It says on this day, I heart you, and then there's the other little heart that is singular over here. So to have all the kids. Yes, definitely. That's probably not cool. You know what? I think kids can make anything cool if other kids think that they've never seen it before. You know what I mean? Like, if you create your own trend, it's cool. That's all. That's all that, you know, is about. You know, like if you show up to any school and you're like, "Hey, look what I have," and no one else has it, automatically cool. But it's so funny how it works, you know. Because how many times haven't we seen things come back and back and back? And how many of us thought that the 80s looks would never come back into style? And then you walk through a mall and you see neon t-shirts or, you know, cut off little shorts or whatever. And you're like, oh no. yeah, samples here. Let me show you guys in case you haven't seen this. All right, so here's the album I was referring to that Victoria made with just that. And it's, I mean, I wish I could, you know, show you guys some really awesome pictures. But the last thing that I wanted to mention, of course, is that if you've never in your life made any album or a mechanism that flips and flaps and folds, then they've even included the instructions. Super cool. So I'm very, very happy to pick this up. I have several mini albums that I still have to play with. I'm gonna confess that right away. But I'm not, I think I want to keep this separate. Oh, well, I would hope that would never happen. Karen, if you're going to a school like that, then there's something wrong with the population of that school. But yeah, I wanted to just share, you know, of course, my love of all things crafty, and share with you guys these items. If you haven't picked out any of the items, most are available, with the exception, of course, of the mini albums, as I mentioned, because it sold out very quickly. In fact, it sold out within 25 or 30 minutes of the presentation. I think a lot of people were anticipating this particular mini album set because of course, you know, this is a time of year everyone's making gifts for Christmas and things like that. You guys know that's never gonna make it back in that package. And in any case, you know, the size of it was what made this particularly, you know, popular. But don't forget that there are other sales right now for mini album sets that are really beautiful. I think they're timeless, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek of one that I've been working on. I was asked to do a tutorial for this particular set. When this first came out, I immediately made a mini album for a baby. That meant a lot to me, and I gave it away. But I didn't make a tutorial because I honestly wasn't even confident enough to film anything like that. Since then, let me just show the variety here. So since then, I've made several other mini albums using this set. I think it's absolutely stunning, because you don't always have to use it in the same format. That's the word I'm going to use. You know, the horizontal way. You can also switch it up and use it like this in the vertical direction. Or you could also use it with the other dies that were released that allow you to have the page open in the center. So the whole ability to mix and match and use different types of elements, I think, is wonderful. The different types of spines that you can make. You know, of course, these are more samples that I've made, but I do have others that, let me think here. I no longer have them, yeah. But if you look at my library of mini albums made by Tonic Studios, you'll be able to see some other ones that I've made using this set, or on also on Instagram I've shared pictures, you know, so there's a plethora of options that you can have. I just was walking further those days. So anyway, the one I'm using right now, as you can tell, I'm using a black base here. But the concept is the same throughout with all of the mini album dies that you can get. You make your base, and yes, you know, this is going to be a tutorial, but as I mentioned before, I'm asked to do it in Spanish. So I'm actually going to do the voiceover for this tutorial in Spanish. And I'm thinking of maybe, if I have time, to do the little blurbs on the bottom in English. I'm not making any promises though, because if I'm able to do it, I will. I just have to be very careful as to how much time I spend on social media and all that other stuff because of my back. And I've mentioned that before in this channel, so I'm being hyper aware of my health and trying to take care of myself, and that's why you haven't seen me here much. I haven't put out a bunch of content lately, and that's just because I needed to take a break. Um, oh no, Beverly, I have, if you want me to send you on Instagram information regarding that, sweetie, I'd be happy to share what I have in terms of what you can do to have a pleasant recovery. I've had it 3 times, I think, and praise to God. Of course, praise God. That's Christians. I'm going to give God all the glory and praise for my health. Okay. Yeah, but you can definitely take. I'm just gonna say it. Take some therapeutics and have some relief. You know. So that's all we did in our household, and it was like, okay, we got it, and then within a week or week and a half, done. And as a matter of fact, we didn't. When we did get it, because my husband got it, my son got it, and myself, it's been kind of interesting how like one of us would have one symptom and the other one wouldn't, you know. So yeah, but no need of anything other than vitamins. That's all I took. So so back to the, I did the base in black, and then I'm just, again, this is just a sneaky peeky, of course. The dies come with so many options, of course, where you can cut into the background, or you can keep pieces as a solid piece. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, with the dies only cutting on 3 sides of the page, then you can make things like the little, flips and flaps, and, this is pretty basic at this point because I haven't finished this book. But I love combining, for instance, other die sets. This is from a different mini album set. This is from another mini album set. And I like to mix and match. This is from the newer one that, in fact, if you missed out on this one, I'm trying to remember the names, and that's not going to happen. So let me see here. I think it was the Eternal Moments or something like that. And guys, I'm looking for it right now so I can show you. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this page here, for instance, has was made with this from this mini album set. And there are other pieces here, like that little pull tab that was made with this. And this one's called the Eternal Moments Memory Book. And it looks like that. This was recently brought back to the Tonic website, even though it had sold out. However, I didn't even come along and make a video just because of the fact that it sold so quickly that I wasn't even able to find a link. But this was another one that came, as I mentioned before, it came even with the spine die, tons of little, bits and bobs for you to play around with. So I haven't really played with this one yet. And the items that I've used have been here and there, but I still need to make a book with that one. But it's fun, to create just those interactive pages. In here, for instance, I created this so that the recipient can use it as if it's part of the base. However, this whole thing comes out, and I can show you, for instance, that this is also a pocket to place a picture or a note, you know, anything like that. I love doing that sort of thing, kind of the sneak peeks and things like that. And then this was another set that they released that has the, I think I have it over here. And I've been crafting, guys, so don't mind me. It's just, I have stuff all over the place. This one's called the My Memory Book Perfect Locks. I did an entire tutorial on how to use this one as well. So that if you're curious as to how to incorporate those into a book or a card, you can do that. I've done live videos showing how to make that mechanism. So yeah, so I'm still working on that. I'm editing, or I'm sorry, I haven't started editing yet, but this will soon be up, and I'll be super happy to share how that comes out. And I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to share. I could, if you guys wanted me to. I'm trying to think here of what I have around me. I'm curious to see how this is going to look. So I'm kind of wanting to play with the stencil. Ooh, I think it's so pretty. What do you guys think? I'm kind of in the mood to play. But I have some brushes here, and I wanted to see what this would look like if I, you know, to make a background for a card. Because I thought this was just so pretty. I have here, let me see here. I'm gonna try to, there we go, okay. Trying to update some, the chat there just to make sure that I'm not in too much of a lag, but let's just play around here. I just wanted to see what this is gonna look like. I'm gonna go in and color this poinsettia to see what a background will look like with this. This reminds me, guys, of coffee beans. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I know there was something unique about this poinsettia that I hadn't, you know, been able to pinpoint just yet. And it's that each individual petal looks like a coffee bean to me. So I suppose, you know, there could be something to be made with this sort of thing, depending on how you view things, of course. But I'm just going to go ahead and add the color to that. And some people like to tape these down a little bit, you know. I like to wing it, but it helps you. You can put washi tape down. I do. I have expanding mousse, and I'm trying to think here of what color it is. But yes, this copper one, although I'm trying to think if it's dry. It feels a little bit dry, but hey, you know, we can have a little play with it and see how it works. I'm gonna grab another one of these little brushes here. And I just picked up some archival ink here. And of course you can do whatever colors you want, because that's the fun part, right? But I like it when you make a card and it's, you know, completely top to bottom, all your own colors, and you know what I mean, like your own touch as to what you added to it. So there's poinsettia number 1. And I think it's so pretty. So my thing with stencils, of course, is that inevitably I get my my inky fingers on things. But what I've learned is that that whole stark white look, it's just not for me because I'm messy. So I just embrace it. And can you heat emboss? These are waterproof, acid-free, permanent. Let's see. Actually, that's a really good question. I'm not quite sure because I tend to do my embossing with Versamark. So for instance, I would go back over the areas that I want to emboss with Versamark and then and go from there. So I don't know if that's, you know, the best way. However, Nuvo has, or Tonic Studios has hybrid inks, and those you can emboss with. I just happened to pick these because of the colors that I immediately was looking at. And I wanted to make a sample in a really, really bright red just so that you could see it better on video. And I'm going to go ahead and, if you see what I'm doing here, I'm doing kind of the tips of this flower in the green and then the more center area in the red and trying to blend it out a tiny bit. But because of the size of the brush that I'm using, I kind of have to go over it a little bit more here and there. But I think the results are really pretty. For some reason, I think some ink got on the back of this though. Yes, I try to stay away from the full-size pads only because they take up a lot of surface area on my craft mat. And I like the convenience of just having that little, I don't know why. I like the convenience of just having that little bit of ink pad there. Although I do have the full size, of course, what do you call them? The oxides from Tim Holtz, and I love, love, love those inks. So those were my first introduction to really, you know, using inks to color, because of all the effects that you can do with those inks. And let me tell you, if you were to only ever buy one set of inks and never buy another set again, I don't think you can go wrong with those Ranger oxides. Really, the saturation is just amazing. Now, of course, also from Ranger, and I like them because they're waterproof. But if you see there, depending on how you blend that, you can get a completely different look. Depending also on how dirty your brush is. But I'm loving this. Oh my gosh. And I've only used only one image. I don't know how many of you guys have done what do you call it? I used to wonder, like, what's the big deal? Why do people like that? And then I tried it, and I was hooked. I was like, yeah, I think I like this. Especially if you want to make a card without a lot of volume. It adds a nice punch. Yes, the full size. Yep, I also have those. And I love how long they last also. Now, the other inks that have captured my heart are the Catherine Puller inks. Holy moly, those are amazing. However, I don't have any in this deep red. So otherwise I would have gone in that direction. Oh, so pretty! I am loving this. I'm gonna do another one over here. Now, some people would grimace at the way that I'm doing this because I am allowing that brush to be completely saturated in ink when I go in, you know, so it kind of leaves that demarcation line, but I'm not worried about that at all. Oopsie, you're getting the minis. Well, you know, Beverly, you can get them when they're on sale, you know. Many years ago, there was a web page. I don't know if you ever shopped from them, but they were called Litsy. And I mean, I'm thinking within the last 5 years, I think it is, that they closed. I used to be an affiliated with that store, and I really liked it. But then all of a sudden, I think, you know, I don't know what happened, but from one day to the next, it was like, boom, they're gone, you know. But that's where I used to get a lot of inks. All right, I need to clean my brush. So I'm going to go for my chamois because it started turning a little bit brown there. So again, another good way to get ink off in a more kind of controlled manner is to do this. So to answer your question, Beverly, this one is leaf green and also carnation red. So we're going to change the name to poinsettia red because these are not carnations. But say you have a friend who doesn't like red and green and you're going to make a card for them, but you know, you really like to use poinsettias, then you can, the benefit of this, of course, is that then you can make the poinsettias in whatever color that friend likes, you know. There was one year that I decorated my living room with pink and red poinsettias, and oh my gosh, I just fell in love with the, you know, the color pink of the poinsettias that I had. I remember thinking, gosh, you know, poinsettias are such a beautiful flower because of the size. All right, I'm just letting that air dry for a moment. I don't like to go crazy because I don't want to ruin what I make. So you're getting to see my process here. When I see things start getting muddy or yucky, it's cleaning time. So like I said before, crafting, you know, normally when you see these edited videos and reels, I think, you know, they're very misleading because it makes you think that you can make this project in 2 seconds and that your fingers are going to remain clean and you're going to have this amazing manicure the whole time. Let me tell you guys, that's not how it works. Ink is messy, period. So a lot of times you're just seeing the cut down version after everything has been wiped down and all that. Okay. This one's going to be a little bit lighter. I almost want to see what it would look like with a little bit more green. But yeah, I'm digging that. And then, of course, off the page look. Just using what's left on that brush first. I can go back in and pounce a little bit more. And then go back in with this green. And I'm only going to do, let's see here, maybe 1 or 2 more. All right, so there's that one. Because down. So let's see here. I think another little leaf here. All right. And let's see. Same over here. So that one's a little bit on the light side, but I like that. Don't mind it at all. Okay, so there's that. And I think I'm going to cut this down so as to not keep you guys here all day. So let's just say you wanted to do a 5 by, let's see here, 4.5 by, I think I'm going to do a 4.5 by 5. I got ink on my fingers, so I'm already getting, what do you call that, fingerprints on here. Let's do 4 3/4. I'm trying to think of some standard sizes, but of course that goes out the window. Okay, I'm cutting it down to 4 3/4 by 5 3/4, just for the sake of having, you know, a piece there. And as far as the expanding mousse is concerned, what I'm thinking here is this one got dried out on me, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out of here. That's always the caveat if you've had it in your drawer for a little bit too long and not sealed it properly. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring this back to life again. So, sadly, I don't think that that's going to happen today. But I can always come back and do a different video with that. What I can do, however, is use the drops, the crystal drops, to add some shine. So with the same method of, you know, lining up the ink, of course, I can do the drops. So I'm just going to clean this off so that I don't contaminate my paper again. Oh, you're welcome. Normally it would be a piece of cake. Oh, you know what though? I think I figured out what I want to do. Before I try that, I'm going to try something different. I'm trying to think here. I have this embellishment mousse. And what color is this? This is called Persian red. Let's give this a try. Let's give the Persian red a try. It's going to change the look of this, but that's the whole point, right? It's just give it something to try, see what it looks like, see if you like it. I'm going to use a brush for this one, so I don't want to contaminate stuff. So I'm going to line this up again, and I'm going to use my Persian red mousse. So this is embellishment mousse, okay? And I'm just going to dab it on here. And this has a coppery tone to it, so it's going to change things. Ooh la la is what I'm going to say right away. Ooh la la. Completely changes the look of it. And now here's another, this is again another medium that you use as little or as much as you like. So I'm adding a tiny bit to the center also to complement green and the red, but that just took that poinsettia to a whole other level because it added the shine. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope that you can. But it took a flat poinsettia with, you know, just very delicate color, in my opinion, and just gave it a bit more depth there. Thank you. And then the cool thing is that you don't have to do all of them. You can select one or two. I'm going to wipe it down so that I don't... All right, some of it is going to come off, but not all of it. I'm just trying to make sure that the back part of it is not dirty at all. All right, and I think it's fine. So I'm going to find my little again. And if you've never used these mediums, just to let you know, it's going to stain your stencils, but you're going to want to clean them off as soon as you're done. Because if not, you're going to have a layer of this mousse permanently stuck on your stencils, okay? So that's just a heads up. Okay, so there's that little bit. Now, of course, because depending on how much you use, you might get a like a beveled edge on that. But if you like texture, that's just a really cool way to use it, you know? Now, this isn't, you know, completely dry, but I think it's safe enough to go ahead and use the stencil here on the corner. Now, of course, had I thought about this sooner, I would have done all of the layering first, you know, all of the layering for every single flower. But hindsight is 20/20. I'm trying, that's why I'm trying to tread lightly here, is because I don't want to ruin what I've already done. Okay, so just a little bit there. And then I'm going to go down to this little corner. And let's see here. Do a little bit there. Okay, so let's just say that I'm happy with that. The other thing that I can do is introduce a little bit of a different color here. By using the drops. So what I was thinking is that I can do a little pool of drops here on my mat, right? And then I can use the same brush that I was using before. I'm trying to find, I just moved it. I was trying to find my paper towel. I'm just trying to rub off a little bit of this. Okay. And then I'm going to dip my brush into this Nuvo crystal drop. And then just pounce it here. And I'm going to get a super subtle effect, but it's also going to have a little bit of shine with that little leaf. Where'd you go, leaf? Here it is. Couldn't find it there for a second. And it's got the tiniest bit of green in it because it looks more translucent in the application, but it does have also, depending on how much, you know, I put on there. So say I wanted it to be a bit more solid, I could start off with a green ink and then go over it with the drop, or I could just apply a whole lot more on there. But it gives it that little bit of an enamel look. There's that. And now I'm placing this stencil in a way that I don't overlap with the stencil, the other images. But if this was, if I waited in between leaves here for this to be completely dry, I would have a little bit more flexibility as to how I place it. I hope that makes sense, you know. So that way you don't get all the leaves facing in the same direction, etc., etc. But you want to look at the previous leaf and then turn around your stencil. Woohoo! Guess I gotta remember to pounce, because if not, you might get a wonky little leaf. Which is fine too. No big deal. And then here's where you can also take advantage and cover up any accidental boo-boos that you had with the ink. Just stick a leaf right on top of it. Embellishment opportunity. All right, and I'm going to do one more over here. And I think I'm done with that. So now I've got a shiny aspect there with the leaves. If you want to do a super duper kind of graphic design look to this, then you can go back in with a black pen. Hello, God's Desire for Me. I love, love, love your Instagram handle. Or I'm sorry, your YouTube handle. So there you see how the Nuvo drops don't have to be just a drop. You can definitely use it to add some shine and texture to your paper. Then let's do one more thing here. I was thinking of, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. I was thinking of doing one more thing. Oh, the black ink. I can do a more graphic look to this by adding black around the poinsettias. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that I don't accidentally put it onto what I already have here that's wet. But I'm trying to think here of what I could add to it. Let's just go for it. I'm just going to go on the outline here. Now, mind you, there is a stamp, okay? But that's not what I'm going for. I'm just going for a really kind of loosey-goosey look here around the poinsettias. Just to give it a different look. And this would make a really cute journal page even to add to a book. So I could repeat that just on one, kind of skip one and go for the next one over here. Okay, and I'll do one more. Like that. And all that does is to keep the eye kind of moving around the page or the card. Okay, so now I'm going to cut down a piece here, and this will be 5. Five by 6, and once I put this on here, it's going to be a bit more noticeable or grounded. And guys, I'm being supremely careful because I don't want to put my fingers into the Nuvo. So if it sounds like I'm a little bit, you know, scattered, it's just that I don't want to ruin that. Okay. So I'm just going to add some little drops of glue here. If you've never used Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, it is the best. You don't need a whole lot of it to work with a project and get really good adhesion. So I'm going to go around, make sure this is nicely lined up, and wherever I can put my fingers, I will. And it does give you a second there for you to go ahead and move things around if need be. But I just wanted to show you guys, you know, started off with that, right? But now I can go ahead and add this on top and create an even larger card base if I want to. See what I mean? And it doesn't have to have the flowers on every single surface. Like I could add a little bit more just on this little corner and then have this be the card topper, and then just add a sentiment and be done with that. But I do want to add crystal drops in this color because I want to see what this looks like. And this is called Dirty Bronze. And I'm just going to use these in a more, what do you call that? More textured look by letting these be dimensional. That's the word I was looking for. Just adding a little bit more dimension. You don't have to make them all the same size or anything like that either. Just gonna go around here. for fun, guys. It's cool to experiment and use things in a different way, you know. You don't have to use it on every single part of your page or anything like that, but it's a nice option. Can also add just a little drop here and there. Kind of filling in the little sparse areas if you want to. Okay. But I hope this gives you guys a, you know, somewhat of an idea of how to use some of these products. Of course, you know, I think most of you guys are already familiar with them, but there's a sampling in any case. And then what I do is I set these things aside, so that way I don't put my finger in it. That way the domed aspect of that drop doesn't get interrupted. Because if you tap it too much, they tend to flatten out a little bit. But let me show you. I was referring to the stone drops. And I think this is a good sample of that because you get to see the texture. These are stone drops that I use on here for the stems of these flowers. And of course, it's a different color. Thank you so much, Karen. I just like to play, you know, have a little bit of a childlike approach to things and just play around and not be afraid to use it all at the same time. You know what I mean? But if you see here, this is all done with Nouveau mousse. Yes, I use Nouveau mousse for the background here, and I cut it out with the die, of course, so that it would fit the little petals in here. But I also sprinkled some glitter on there while it was still wet, and it kind of got bedded into the mousse. Or no, it was glimmer paste. I did glimmer paste on top of the mousse. That's what it was. And that glimmer paste had that bit of glitter. I try to remember everything, guys, and it's almost impossible. But it's a really cool effect. I have a lot of options there for texture. I'm trying to think of what else I've done here. So, yeah, on here I also use Nouveau drops. So if you look at that, this has all been colored with Nouveau drops and Nouveau glitter drops. So the same way I was showing you guys earlier, these and these, the crystal drops, you can use them on different embellishments and color them in. Why not? I did the same for these. I colored those in using Nouveau pens and then topped them off with the Nouveau glitter drops. So, well, the thing to bear in mind is that this is just a liquid inside of a bottle. So the same way you can add water, because they're all water-based. I guess that's what I wanted to bring up. They're water-based mediums. So then you can add water to them and just extend them by using them with a brush. You know, the same goes with the mousses, the sprays, all of them. There's no limitation as to how you apply them because it's really all up to you. For instance, if you just want to do the very tip of the bottle, that's what I did here. And it ended up looking like a studded piece, you know, almost, it reminded me of studded leather. And all that is little Nouveau drops. And that's kind of the traditional way. You don't have to make it super beveled either. It's okay to just do it flat on the page. And in fact, it'll dry quicker that way too. And you can use them like little pearls. That's what I did here. By combining that. So I these are actually, in fact, I believe these were the dream drops. So because they were more pearlescent, I let them just have that tiny, you know, pearl-like finish. pretending they were pearls. And I think that's it, because this is just tone on tone. Yeah, and if you're wondering what these pieces are, those are beautiful board pieces from Renee Bouquets. They come in a really light nude color, and that's why they take on color beautifully, because it's just, you know, a veneer, or, you know, board as they're called, and then you can color them as you wish. The flowers, not in a particular case. These were flowers from Renee Bouquet, but to answer your question, yes, I often do. For instance, I made all of these, and here's another good example, you know, of how you can use the drops. For instance, I use them on this little stem here, or the pistil. You can use drops on that to make it, just that little surface, be shiny. So yeah, there's a lot of different options. I hope I've given you guys a bit of a, you know, sampling here. What did I do with my book? Here it is. I'm like, I lost it. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your feedback. If you want to, because I did share a lot of these items, now these are much older projects. Of course, you know, this is a fall one, this is something I recently made. But what I wanted to share with you guys, for instance, if you like the shape of this mini album, if you like the types of pages that you can make and all of that, these are currently at a great price at Tonic Studios. You can use my links below, and they're actually in the description bar of the video. And you can pick up these items and make projects just like these. You know, of course, they're not going to be identical. That goes without saying, but you have so many different options, especially if you take advantage of the sales that they have for the weekend, where you try out new products and just have a play, you know, like I just did here. I don't think this would have taken me as long if I wasn't, you know, chatting and trying to take a look at the chat and the video and all of that. You know, it's reads a little bit different, of course, when you're trying to do a YouTube video. But if you're just sitting at home and you have a little bit of time, you can, you know, do quick backgrounds all at once, as I was sharing before, and then have some really pretty card bases that you can make several projects with and all that jazz, you know. But I am now going to take a rest. So this has been a lot of fun though, and I'm super excited to play around with the, you know, goodies and do some more stamping and stenciling and all that. But I hope that you have enjoyed this video, that it has been informational. Of course, I do appreciate feedback. I appreciate the, you know, questions. I've done that, you know, for a very long time. But yeah, please, please, please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. Come back for more content. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend, guys. Ciao, ciao. Don't forget the thumbs up. Here I go, trying to reach. Woohoo! Where's my button? Bye!